You're now watching Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network.
All right, Jimmy, out with you here in the Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network. Before we dig into a couple of college football totals and angles with this massive change in college football this year, with the Big Ten and the Pac-10 or Pac-12 basically joining forces, a lot of their participants, but also in the SEC where you lose divisional play, and it's giving a little bit of a breather to a little bit more of an advantageous schedule for teams like Ole Miss, where they have a chance to make a run. We talked about the Rebels beforehand. We'd love them to get to the college football playoff, the 12-team league. How new participants new members, Texas and Oklahoma. The league is sort of this Band-Aid schedule. Wanted everybody to play either or. They play each other, and 7 teams will play Texas, and the other 7 will play Oklahoma, and it is lopsided, to say the least. That's why we like Texas a lot in their, for them to get to the college football playoff, even at a plus minus, an over $2 price. At minus 225. So we'll get to that in just a second. But we got to sweat our bet, man. And it was just back on June 25th where we said, listen, this Paul Skenes thing is going from like 80 to 1 to 50 to 1, but it's still there. And we talked about how it's going to be a big hurdle to overcome the not qualifying for the 162 innings pitch for the ERA stat. We pointed to a bit of history where Kershaw had better numbers than Scherzer, but still only finished 5th. But the Skenes thing is, it's got some legs, no doubt. It's at plus 400 right now for the Pirates. And what the Pirates did was something interesting. They pitched him on that Thursday. He got that 1-0 no-hitter at Milwaukee. And then he was off Friday, Saturday, Sunday in a series against the White Sox. He pitches 1 inning on Tuesday, and then they hold him for another whole week, 12 days in between that start on with our 12 days later, 11 days of rest and 1 inning thrown in there for Skenes. Guys like Ortiz, Keller, Gonzalez all had multiple starts in this little lapse where I guess they're counting the 1 inning. So they're being extra careful for him. Be careful on those lofty strikeout numbers as well. He usually gets them, but man, it's at a tight pitch count. They won't let him start an at-bat after 100 pitches. But, man, we got some life and some action. Speaking of the Pirates, they've won 6 of 7 despite not having Skenes in this run. They've won 9 of 11. And so they're starting to hit a little bit better as well. They're really still kind of weak on the bats. But, man, if they could just improve a little bit like that, hey, look out for the Pirates right there in the National League wild card. And the Pirates have not said anything one way or the other if we're out of contention. That's a lot of chatter that's out there. So, man, just stay close. That will eliminate that temptation to sit him if they do fall out of contention for a National League wild card spot. They should be able to hang in there. But again, as long as they're hitting, can just do just a little bit like they've been doing. Look out for the Pirates and Paul Skenes to make the postseason and for him to challenge for that Cy Young. Of course, we're going to be looking a lot at Chris Sale and Wheeler as well, the two shortest odds guys for the National League Cy Young. Let's get to the college football. We talk about Texas. We love their schedule. It is soft as cotton coming in to the SEC. They lost their top 3 wide receivers and their first team All Big 12 tight end from a year ago. So Ewers has a completely different group of weapons to target, and we think that the guy he's going to target the most is Isaiah Bond. Now, 48 catches for about 650 yards and 4 touchdowns last year for the Crimson Tide. But we all know about that team. It was Milroe. Milroe can run like the wind, but he improved his passing. But for a big chunk of the season last year, he really struggled throwing the football. Ewers will put it. He will be more productive with Ewers throwing to him and against a tough schedule. And while we like some of these awards, it sure does help to be on a winning team. Texas is a lock to be a winning team this year. So I think they're going to get in the SEC championship game. I don't think they're going to win it. but they will be safely in the college football playoffs. So Isaiah Bond right now at betrivers to win the Fred Biletnikoff Award is 11-1. He's going to be productive. He's going to be on a good team, a high-profile team that's accomplishing something. So he fits all of it. He's just going to be in the mix. So we think at 11-1, that's worth a shot right there. The two teams that I was kind of looking on the downside this year, and I mean you can't get much better, and that is teams that played for the national championship game last year in Michigan and in Washington. So it was a mismatch. We know that. Michigan much better. Michigan's semifinal game was much tougher than it was in the final. But Kalen DeBoer did an awesome job. He can flat out coach. I wonder about him being a little bit oblivious to all the pressure that the pressure cooker that he's entered in Tuscaloosa. He's a great coach, but any coach is going to have a tough time following that success at Alabama. Those people have high expectations. Just that simple. But the thing is, the Michigan Wolverines, the championship hangover, it is real. It is, you accomplish something, you're getting more of the BMOC treatment. I mean, you're not quite as hungry. You lose your staff and your main guy. I know Harbaugh was suspended for a couple of games last year, but man, this is a program that is set up for a championship hangover. Our buddies from Texas going to Ann Arbor early in the season, maybe before they can kind of solidify and identify some roles on that team. So I like the position of that one in week 2 up in Ann Arbor. And then they've got, of course, the trip to Ohio State is going to be brutal. Oregon's great this year. They have to go to Washington. That could be a little tricky. And so at 9, I think this is an underplay. When's the last time that Michigan hasn't won 9 games? I get it historically, but man, they are gutted in their roster, in their staff, and the championship hangover. A lot of things that I'm concerned about. I like Michigan under the 9. Probably will fall 9, but I think it's got a much better chance of going 8 than it does on 10. Sorry about that, maize and blue. I know that's not what you guys are expecting up in Ann Arbor. And the other one was Washington, and I'm all ready to set them because they are. They're going to take a big nosedive as well. They lost 20 of 22 starters. They lost their staff, and I mean the whole shebang. The little fish comes over from Arizona, and he all but did a small miracle over in Tucson, getting that team. Is how many times did they win as an underdog? I mean, all the way to the national title, the Pac-12 championship in a year where the Pac-12 was really, really good. But man, they're going to drop off. But then I look at the line at 6.5, and it's like, that's a pass, man. They've got some easy rent wins in there. So from the national championship appearance to 6.5, it's kind of a pass on that one. But I do like the Michigan under. So go sweat a little bit of Pirates and Paul Skenes. Let's get Texas, get Isaiah Bond straight, get him and Ewers together with that 11-1 shot in the Biletnikoff as we try and piece together some things. You know, we're tempted on this U.S. basketball too, but man, they kind of having some closer calls than they should have. And so it kind of scares me a little bit. Maybe when they get into the actual games in Paris, it'll be a little smoother sailing. But when you take all these strong individual players and try to gel them together, it's not exactly easy, so beware on laying those big numbers with the U.S. Olympic basketball team. I'm Jimmy Ott here in the Sports Bettor's Paradise on the Bet Rivers Network.